unpacking them efficiently. Though I should point out, next time you might want to check with me before buying groceries for my house. Your house? He looked at Mom, who was still sitting in shocked silence. Perhaps we should all sit down, I suggested, gesturing to the dining room. I believe we have some catching up to do. They followed me like dazed sheep, settling around the table where we'd had countless family meals. Meals I was often excluded from, relegated to the kitchen to help with dishes. So, I settled at the head of the table, Dad's old spot, about this year's reunion. You can't just buy our family home, Trinity burst out. This is our tradition. Funny thing about traditions, I said, examining my manicure. They're only as strong as the people maintaining them. When the bank called about foreclosure proceedings, where was your tradition then? Mom's head snapped up. How did you know about that? I know everything, Mom. I know about the missed payments, the second mortgage, the tax liens. I know because, unlike some people, I do my research before making investment decisions. My phone buzzed again. Savannah. Need backup? All good. Operation Karma in progress, I texted back. Looking up at my family's stunned faces, I smiled. Now, about those reunion plans, I was thinking we might need to make some changes this year. After all, I gestured to the ocean view through the windows. New house, new rules. The look of dawning comprehension on their faces was better than any merger deal I'd ever closed. And we were just getting started. You could have told us, Trinity said, breaking the tense silence that had fallen over the dining room. About your success, your career, everything. Could I? I raised an eyebrow. When? Between being uninvited to family gatherings or during those holiday calls that never came? Dad cleared his throat. Now, Quinn, that's not entirely fair. Fair, I laughed, the sound sharp enough to make Mom flinch. Let's talk about fair. Remember my college graduation? When you all skipped it because Nelson had a soccer game? That was different, Mom protested weakly. Nelson was up for a scholarship, which he didn't get, I finished. Meanwhile, I was accepting my MBA with honors. Not that any of you knew, since you never asked. My phone buzzed. Lance. Hong Kong announcement goes public tomorrow. Want me to delay? Perfect timing. Proceed as planned. I texted back. Nelson leaned forward. So what now? You're going to hold this over our heads? Make us beg to use our own family house? Your family house? I stood, walking to the renovated kitchen. Come see what your family house looked like when I bought it. The rotting deck boards, the leaking roof, the outdated wiring that was one storm away from burning this place down. I opened a folder on the counter, spreading out before and after photos. 60,000 in repairs just to make it livable. Another 100,000 in renovations. Where was your family pride then? Trinity picked up a photo, her face paling. We didn't know it was this bad. Because none of you bothered to check. You just assumed everything would magically take care of itself. Like you assumed I'd never amount to anything. Dad stood up suddenly. That's enough. We may have made mistakes, but you're still our daughter. Am I? I turned to face him. Because from where I'm standing, I've been your afterthought for 20 years. My phone lit up with a news alert. The Hong Kong announcement had leaked early. Mom's phone buzzed seconds later, her eyes widening as she read. Vice President of International Operations? She whispered. Quinn, you're moving to Hong Kong? Among other things, I smiled, pouring myself more coffee. The merger I just closed is worth more than this house and everything in it. Trinity grabbed Mom's phone, reading aloud. Youngest executive in company history, revolutionary merger strategy, projected to triple market share. Impossible, Nelson muttered. You're just Quinn. Just Quinn, I repeated softly. Funny how that works, isn't it? The daughter you never believed in now owns your precious beach house and runs a global division. Dad sank back into his chair. Why didn't you tell us? I did. Every time I tried to talk about work, you changed the subject to Trinity's kids or Nelson's latest venture. Every achievement, every promotion, met with polite disinterest. My phone buzzed again. Remington. Stocks up 12% on the Hong Kong news. You're trending on LinkedIn. Mom was still staring at her phone. These numbers, Quinn, these are more money than you can imagine, I supplied. Yes, they are. And that's just the beginning. So what happens now? Trinity asked quietly. With the reunion? With everything? I walked to the windows, looking out at the ocean I now owned. Now we do things differently. The reunion will happen, but under new management. Meaning, Nelson challenged. Meaning I've already booked the top floor of the Four Seasons for everyone. The beach house. I turned back to them. Needs some private time with its new owner. You're kicking us out? Mom's voice cracked. No, Mom, I'm showing you what it feels like to be excluded. The difference is I'm doing it with 5-star accommodations and an ocean view. Dad stood again, this time more slowly. We deserved that, all of it. But Quinn, are you sure this is what you want? What I want? I looked at each of them in turn. What I want is 20 years of missed birthdays and ignored accomplishments. What I want is an explanation for why I was never good enough. But since I can't have those things, I pulled out a stack of hotel reservations, sliding them across the table. I'll settle for watching you all realize exactly what you missed out on. Trinity picked up a reservation, gasping at the sweet description. This must have cost less than an hour of my new salary, I cut her off. Consider it a parting gift before Hong Kong. How long? Mom asked, her voice small. How long will you be gone? I smiled, thinking of all the family events I'd missed over the years. Long enough for you to understand what absence feels like. Now, shall we discuss those new reunion rules? The silence that followed was heavy with 2 decades of regret, none of it mine. The Four Seasons lobby buzzed with activity as my family checked into their suites. I stood back, watching Trinity's kids race around the marble columns, while Nelson awkwardly tried to impress the concierge with small talk. Your car is ready, Ms. Quinn. The valet approached with a discreet bow. Mom's head snapped around at his deferent tone. I saw her eyes widen as she took in my Bentley waiting outside. Quinn, she called out, hurrying over. We need to talk. Properly talk. Actually, I have a meeting. I checked my watch. The merger doesn't pause for family drama. Please, she touched my arm, the first physical contact we'd had in years. Just coffee? 20 minutes? I studied her face, noting the new wrinkles around her eyes. Fine, the rooftop lounge, 15 minutes. Upstairs, Mom fidgeted with her coffee cup while I answered urgent emails about Hong Kong. Finally, she spoke. I didn't know you were so accomplished. Clearly, I set my phone down, though you never asked. We thought... She paused, searching for words. After you dropped out of law school, I didn't drop out, I corrected sharply. I got accepted to business school instead, a full scholarship to Harvard, which you'd know if you'd bothered to read any of my letters. Your father and I, we just wanted you to have a stable career. Like Trinity's law practice that she never actually started, or Nelson's string of failed startups that you kept funding. The door opened and Savannah walked in, stopping short when she saw us. Oh, sorry, I can come back. No, stay, I waved her over. Mom was just explaining why they never believed in me. Mrs. Brooks, Savannah nodded coolly. Long time no see. Though I guess you wouldn't remember me from all those holidays I spent with Quinn while you were at Trinity's house. Mom had the grace to look embarrassed. Savannah, of course I remember you. Save it. Savannah sat down. I'm just here to finalize the Hong Kong details with Quinn. You know, for her massive promotion that you all ignored. My phone buzzed. Trinity. Mom okay? She looks upset. She's fine, I texted back. Learning some hard truths. Ignored. My phone buzzed. Trinity. Mom okay? She looks upset. She's fine, I texted back. Learning some hard truths. Quinn. Mom's voice was barely a whisper. Were we really that terrible? Savannah snorted, but I held up a hand. You weren't terrible, Mom. You were indifferent, which was worse. We can fix this, she pleaded. Now that you know I'm successful, I finished. Now that I have money and power and influence, that's not fixing things. That's just changing your mind because I proved you wrong. The door opened again. Dad this time. Your mother's been gone a while. Oh. Join us. I gestured to an empty chair. We're having a lovely chat about family dynamics. He sat heavily. Quinn, about the beach house. Already done, I cut him off. The back taxes are paid, the liens are cleared, and the property is fully renovated. You're welcome. That's not... He started. Not what you meant? I smiled tightly. No, it never is. Savannah opened her laptop. Quinn, we need to finalize your Hong Kong housing allowance. They're offering 3 options. The penthouse in Victoria Harbour, I said, without looking. I already decided. Mom's coffee cup clattered. Penthouse? Did you think international executives live in studio apartments? Savannah asked sweetly. My phone lit up with another text. Nelson. Family dinner tonight? My treat? Can't, I replied. Board dinner at Le Bernardin. Quinn? Dad leaned forward. We know we messed up, but pushing us away now, buying the beach house, moving to Hong Kong. Is this really the answer? I stood, smoothing my skirt. The beach house isn't about pushing you away. It's about taking control of something you never thought I deserved. As for Hong Kong, I smiled. That's just good business. When will we see you? Mom's voice cracked. I'll be back for holidays. I gathered my things. Maybe, if I'm not too busy running my division. Savannah stood with me, her face triumphant. Don't worry, Mrs. Brooks. I'm sure Trinity will keep you updated on all the family news. She always has before. As we walked out, I heard Mom start to cry. Part of me wanted to turn back, to comfort her like I always had. But that part was getting smaller every day. You okay? Savannah asked in the elevator. I checked my reflection in the mirrored walls, adjusting my designer blazer. Never better. Ready for that board dinner? Born ready, she grinned. Though I have to ask, are you really going to make them stay at the hotel all reunion week? I smiled as the elevator doors opened. Oh, that's just the beginning. Wait until they see what I have planned for Christmas. The reunion dinner at the Four Seasons Ballroom was everything I'd orchestrated it to be. Crystal chandeliers sparkled overhead, string quartet music floated through the air, and my family sat at the main table looking thoroughly uncomfortable in their business casual attire amid the formal setting. Is all this really necessary? Nelson tugged at his borrowed tie. The concierge had supplied emergency formal wear when I'd forgotten to mention the dress code. You mean the 5-star catering? The premium open bar? The private balcony overlooking the ocean? I sipped my champagne. Consider it making up for all those reunions I missed. Trinity's husband whistled as servers presented the appetizers. This caviar is real beluga, isn't it? Only the best for family, I smiled. Though I'm sure it's nothing compared to the sandwich platters you usually serve at reunions. Mom hadn't touched her food. Quinn, can we talk? Privately? I led her to the balcony where the ocean breeze carried the scent of salt and money. Behind us, I could hear Trinity's kids exclaiming over the chocolate fountain. This is cruel, Mom said quietly. Cruel? I turned to face her. Treating my family to luxury is cruel? You know what I mean. Flaunting your success like this. The way you flaunted Trinity's law school graduation? Or Nelson's engagement party? I leaned against the railing. The parties I wasn't invited to? We were wrong, she whispered. Is that what you want to hear? What I want, I said carefully, is for you to understand exactly what you missed out on. Every promotion, every achievement, every milestone you ignored. It all led to this. To me, becoming someone who can book an entire hotel floor without blinking. The balcony door opened. Lance had arrived. Quinn? He nodded, then turned to Mom. Mrs. Brooks, I'm Lance Whitfield. I've been mentoring your daughter for the past decade. Mom's eyes widened. You're her boss? The one from the news? Actually, Lance smiled. As of next month, Quinn will be my equal in the corporate hierarchy. Possibly even my superior, given her trajectory. I watched Mom process this information, seeing the reality of my success finally sink in. The Hong Kong position, she said slowly. It's really that significant? Mom, I laughed. I'll be running operations for half of Asia. My signing bonus alone could buy the beach house twice over. Lance checked his watch. Speaking of which, the Tokyo office is waiting for our call, shall we? Of course, I turned to Mom. Enjoy the rest of dinner. The dessert course includes gold leaf. Try not to think about the cost. As we walked away, Lance muttered, brutal. I love it. Back in the ballroom, Remington had arrived with a surprise. Copies of tomorrow's Wall Street Journal, featuring my face on the business section. Hot off the press, he announced, distributing them to my shocked family members. Thought you might want a souvenir of your daughter's success. Dad picked up a copy with trembling hands. Global Market Leadership, Revolutionary Approach to International Commerce. Don't strain yourself, Dad, I called out. The numbers might be a bit overwhelming for a small-town insurance agent. Trinity was reading aloud to her husband. Youngest executive to lead Asian operations, projected to increase market share by 300% within 5 years. Quinn, Nelson stood up suddenly. Can I talk to you? About a business opportunity? Sorry, little brother. I checked my phone. My investment portfolio is fully managed, but I hear there are some great entry-level positions at my company. The string quartet began playing again as servers brought out the main course, Wagyu beef with truffle sauce. I watched my family try to maintain their composure amid the luxury they'd never imagined their forgotten daughter could provide. Your car is ready for the Tokyo call. The concierge appeared at my elbow. Thank you, James. I handed him a $100 bill. Make sure my family gets anything they need. Of course, Ms. Quinn. As I gathered my things, Mum caught my arm. When will you be back? From Hong Kong? I looked around the ballroom, at the opulence, at my stunned family, at the life I'd built without them. You know what, Mum? I'm not sure. But don't worry, I'll send pictures, just like you all did with the reunion photos all these years. Walking out, I heard Remington announcing to the room, and wait until you hear about her new penthouse in Victoria Harbour. The sound of my heels on marble echoed through the lobby, each step taking me further from the family that never believed in me, and closer to the empire I'd built on their doubt. Let them eat Wagyu, I thought, and choke on every golden bite. The morning sun painted the beach house in golden light as I packed the last of my essentials for Hong Kong. Savannah sat on my bed, helping me sort through old photos I'd found in the attic. Look at this one. She held up a faded picture. Your 10th birthday. You're the only one looking at the camera while everyone fawns over Trinity's new puppy. A knock at the door interrupted my response. Mom stood in the doorway holding a small wooden box. Can I come in? She asked quietly. I nodded, continuing to pack. She sat on the edge of the bed, turning the box in her hands. I found this in our attic, she said. It's everything I saved about you. Everything I was too proud to admit I kept. She opened the box. Inside were newspaper clippings, honor roll certificates, even the program from my MBA graduation they'd skipped. You kept these? My hands stilled on a silk blouse. Every single one, she whispered. I told myself I was being practical, not encouraging pipe dreams. But really, I was scared. Scared of what? That you'd succeed where I failed. That you'd break free from the small-town life I settled for. She pulled out a business magazine from last year, one with my name and a 30 under 40 feature. And you did. Savannah stood quietly. I'll give you 2 a minute. No, I caught her arm. Stay. You're more family than most of them have been. My phone buzzed. Trinity. At the beach. Can we talk? Send her up, I texted back. Minutes later, Trinity appeared, looking uncertain in the doorway. Nelson's here too, and Dad. We wanted to see you before you left. They filed in, creating a cramped audience in my bedroom. Nelson clutched a manila envelope. What's that? I nodded toward it. Investment proposals, he admitted. But not for me, for the beach house. We've all contributed, if you'll let us. I raised an eyebrow. I don't need your money. We know, Dad stepped forward, but we need to invest in something we should have invested in years ago. Our family. Pretty words, I said, but actions speak louder. Then let our actions show you. Trinity pulled out her phone. I've postponed my partnership acceptance, taking a sabbatical. Thought maybe I could visit you in Hong Kong, really get to know my sister. And I've enrolled in business courses, Nelson added. Online classes. Thought maybe you could mentor me? Actually do it right this time? Mom opened her box again, pulling out one last item, a key. We don't expect you to forgive us, she said, but maybe we can build something new, something better. I looked at the key. What's this for? The front door, she smiled sadly. I kept it all these years thinking it meant something, but you showed us what really matters isn't keys or houses or reunions. It's the people we choose to become. Savannah squeezed my hand as I took the key. I'm still going to Hong Kong, I said firmly. We know, they replied in unison. And I'm still angry. You should be, Dad acknowledged. And this doesn't fix everything. Nothing could, Mom said softly. But maybe it's a start. I walked to the window looking out at our ocean. My ocean. Behind me, I heard the rustle of Nelson's papers, Trinity's nervous breathing, Mom's box of hidden pride. The reunion, I said finally, will alternate between here and Hong Kong, and you'll all need passports. The tension broke. Trinity laughed through tears. Nelson dropped his envelope, and Dad had to sit down. Really? Mom's voice shook. Really? I turned back to them. But not because you've earned it. Because I choose it. There's a difference. Savannah grinned. Does this mean I get to plan the Hong Kong reunion? Because I have ideas. You're all going to learn Mandarin, I continued, and proper business etiquette, and how to navigate international markets. Whatever it takes, Nelson said, and for once, I believed him. My phone buzzed. Lance. Car's here for the airport. That's my cue. I picked up my carry-on. Quinn? Mom stood. Thank you. Not for the forgiveness we don't deserve, but for the chance we didn't earn. I looked at them all, my imperfect, struggling, finally trying family. Don't waste it. Walking down to the waiting car, I heard them following, saw their reflections in the polished black paint, not chasing me anymore, but walking with me, different, but possible. Hong Kong won't know what hit it, Savannah declared, hugging me goodbye. I smiled, thinking of the view from my new office, the family learning to speak my language, the future expanding like the horizon before us. Neither will they, I said, and got in the car. The beach house stood proud behind us, no longer a symbol of exclusion, but a bridge between who we were and who we might become. Not perfect, but possible. And for now,